Vanuatu is a Pacific island nation located in the South Pacific Ocean. The archipelago, which is of volcanic origin, is 1,090 miles east of northern Australia, 340 miles northeast of New Caledonia, east of New Guinea, southeast of the Solomon Islands, and west of Fiji. The Hawaii Preparatory Academy Sea Turtle Research Program, looking to expand its research base, has developed a satellite tagging research project in Vanuatu, which will allow us to study the post-nesting migratory behavior of hawksbill and green turtles. The project is envisioned to last 3 years with the deployment of 3 to 6 satellite tags each year. On January 5, 2018, a group of HBA student researchers, led by Mark Rice and Laura Jim, departed for Vanuatu to conduct an exploratory trip to determine the feasibility of the project. Under the local guidance of Francis Hickey, we traveled to Moso Island, a small island just north of Ifate, which has numerous small beaches where hawksbill turtles nest. Workers from Tranquility Resort, our home for the next 8 days, met us at Havana Harbor on Ifate with their boat and transported us across the strait to the Tranquility Resort. We were met there by Sun and Joe, the managers of the resort and dive operation. Greeting us also were Socks, Boots, and Fred, 3 doggy mascots at Tranquility. Sun explained about the resort, where things were located and how things worked. For example, electricity generator was on from 7:30 to 9:30 and from 16:30 to 18:30 daily. Drinking water was from the rainwater catchment system, etc. She then walked us all down the path that leads to the fares or bungalows and explained how everything worked there to Mrs. Jim and the students. Everyone settled into their new accommodations, deciding who would sleep where, and then we made our way to dinner to meet some of the other guests, and finally we got a good night's sleep. The next morning, everyone was up and in the water for a snorkel before breakfast. Meals are all served by the hotel at the beach house as part of the package deal. Here you see part of the team having breakfast. All meals came with a plate of fruits, papaya, mango, bananas, lilikoi, pineapple, all grown locally. Meals varied from French toast to eggs with beans and toast. Tranquility Resort is known for its small hawksbill rookery, where they raise hawksbill turtles from hatchlings to yearlings as a sort of a Head Start program. They try and pay for the project by allowing tourists to come and release the turtles, for a donation, when they are 12 to 15 months old. After our breakfast on the morning of January 8th, the team went to the turtle rookery to have a look around and see the new hatchlings that they had just acquired. Everyone was very excited to see all of the cute little turtles. Lots of oohs and ahs were heard. After some negotiations, we were ready to make our way to the hawksbill nesting beaches, which were on the north side of the island. We were transported in a 7-meter outboard motorboat by Nolan, our captain, along with his father, Chief Marimelu, and his wife Evan and son David.
Excellent.
The trip took about 45 minutes, and along the way we trolled the lure and caught a few fish.
Oh no, that's not a. Be careful, I guess. Oh, ow! Watch out.
Our first night of beach monitoring was at Small Island Beach. You can see the small island out in front of the beach here. The amazing thing about the ocean around Moso is that it is so calm that we can take the boat right up to the edge of the water and keep it there all night without the worry of any waves crashing on it or causing any damage. After we got to shore, we would unload the equipment and dinner and then get everything ready for the night's monitoring. As the sun went down, the team relaxed until it was time to do a beach walk to look for nesting hawksbill turtles. Hawksbill turtles don't usually come up to nest until the tide is high and it is later in the evening. We would periodically divide up into teams and walk the beach looking for crawl tracks heading up into the underbrush. Along the way, we would occasionally run into banded sea kraits. While they have a very toxic venom, they are not aggressive and will not bother you if you just leave them alone. I've actually seen people handling them without any harmful effect. If we found an ascending track, we would carefully follow it until we could hear the turtle digging its nest. Using a red light, we were able to see the turtle to make sure it was involved in nesting. We would always wait until the turtle had laid its eggs, or, if it didn't lay, until it decided to move back to the ocean, at which time we would safely restrict its movements so that we could apply a satellite tag. We would measure the turtle and apply external tags also so that the turtle could be identified in the future. The whole tagging process would take between 1.5 and 2 hours, after which the turtle was released to crawl back into the ocean.
So much. And we have a little present for you. So we have a little hat and to say aloha, which is hello, goodbye, love, everything like that. And we live on this island, this big one. So here's a hat for you. And then we have a t-shirt like this for you. And then yummy macadamia.
On the last day of our tagging operations, Evan, Nolan's wife, who had been working with us each night, presented the HPA ladies with gifts of appreciation. We reciprocated with an HPA Sea Turtle Research Program t-shirt, a hat, and some macadamia nuts. It was a very touching scene and everyone felt good about the whole operation. We could not have asked for better guides than Nolan and Evan.
I can't wait to take Vanuatu home with us.
As you can see, we were all happy and alert on the way out to the nesting beaches. However, on the way back it was a little different. Everyone was pretty exhausted after being up for much of the night. After a long night's work, Nolan would drive us back to Tranquility Resort, where we would be greeted by the Tranquility dogs. After landing, we would sort all our gear and put it away for the next night.
Have fun, brother.
In the afternoons, after resting for a little while, we would visit various sites on Moso Island. Here, the students and Mrs. Jim walked to Fred's Beach on the opposite side of the island. The resort folks also took us on a boat snorkel trip to Coral Gardens, where everyone had a great time viewing the beautiful corals, other invertebrates, and fishes.
Wave goodbye.
A couple of days later, we were able to make 2 scuba dives. One dive was at Owen's Reef, and one was in front of Tranquility Resort. The reef is very, very beautiful, alive with fishes, corals, and many other species of invertebrates. On January 14th, we departed Moso Island early in the morning to travel to Port Vila, where we would spend one night before flying home. During our trip back to Havana Harbor, we were escorted by a pod of dolphins. As you can tell by the voices in the background, this was an exciting event enjoyed by all. In Port Vila, we stayed at a bed and breakfast and visited the Vila market and generally cleaned up before boarding our plane to Brisbane and then on to Honolulu. The trip was a wonderful success, and it seemed that everyone had a great time. The tracks of our 3 turtles, Lucy, Ethana, and Teslaba, were very enlightening and showed that there is a connection between nesting beaches on Moso Island and foraging turtles in New Caledonia and on the Great Barrier Reef in Australia.